It was almost Christmas, but Maya, a young girl living in an old church, was crying. The priest who had raised her had been called to heaven. Maya had no father or mother. It was a snowy night 15 years ago. The whole country was excited that day. It was only natural, as the king had given birth to a baby girl. The lonely priest who guards the old church, far removed from the commotion of the world, was offering his nightly prayers. Then, he heard the sound of a baby crying outside. A baby crying on such a cold night. That's strange. Feeling uneasy, the priest opened the door. What? It was no wonder the priest was surprised. A newborn baby girl was lying wrapped in a blanket next to the door. Who could it be out here? Oh, it must be cold. Poor thing. The priest held the baby tightly and went into the church. The priest lived alone with no relatives, so he believed the baby was a gift from God, and raised her with all his might. The priest named her Maya. Maya grew up to be full of energy. She was a strong girl, who would never lose a fight with the boys in the neighborhood. She had short hair, so at first glance, they might have mistaken her for a boy. Although Maya was such a strong-willed girl, it seemed she was quite shocked that her only relative, the priest, had disappeared, and she walked around, feeling anxious and wondering, what should I do now? At that moment, she heard a commotion. Bandits were attacking the royal procession. One after another, the guards fell, and the bandits were closing in on the prince's carriage. Maya could no longer sit still. I'll take on these bastards. Maya fought the bandits with great force. Remember that. The bandits ran away. Thank you. That was a close call. The princess thanked Maya, and was surprised by something else. Maya was also surprised. Maya's hair was short, and the princess's hair was waist length, but they looked identical. The princess felt an extraordinary affinity with Maya, and took her to the castle. At the castle, the king and queen were worried when they heard that the princess had been attacked by bandits. When they heard that the princess was safe, thanks to Maya's efforts, they thanked Maya. Then, the king and queen were surprised when they saw Maya's face. Could it be? The king called out to his chamberlain, who had served him for a long time. You didn't do that back then. I'm so sorry, the chamberlain apologized, rubbing his head against the ground. 15 years ago, in accordance with an ancient custom in this country, that twins destroy a country. One of the twin princesses, born, was ordered to be dropped into a mountain valley. The chamberlain rode out of the castle on his horse, but as he looked at the princess's pretty face, he couldn't stop crying, and by chance, he wrapped the princess in a blanket and left her to sleep in an old church. He happened to be passing by. You idiot, the king scolded the chamberlain, and tried to kill him with his sword, but the queen and the princess stopped him. The queen cried, let's live together. Please forgive me, I have cried so many times when I think of you. The king also lowered his sword. I have also resented being king so many times. However, I cannot change the customs of the country. My longtime servants would not accept it. The princess said, you know, Maya is strong, so let's have her stay by our side as our #1 guard. Isn't that great, Maya? The king and queen both agreed. That's fine. Maya had always thought she would be alone, but suddenly she had a father, a mother, and even a sister. She should have been happy, but she couldn't help but cry. She should have been so happy, but she just couldn't stop. A few days later, on Christmas Day, the people looked up at the castle and made a big fuss. It's the biggest Christmas tree in the world, and that was because the castle was so dazzlingly decorated from every corner.